Hey, Merry Christmas from the Marvel Holiday Special. This is a 1991 comic book that is fairly thick. It's got a square bound edge. The very first story is X-Men. Now, the X-Men, at first I was very confused because they kept on meeting people for the first time. I realized, wait a minute, this is actually set back in the 70s. So we have a different story based on these characters. We have the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Punisher, Thor, Captain America, Ghost Rider, Captain Ultra. I think I remember reading that one. I read this a few days ago, by the way. Full disclosure. Spider-Man and pinups. There's also pinups in here, which I posted to my Instagram. So the first story was pretty good. It basically, the new X-Men, which are now not new at all. This was, again, set back in the 70s, you can tell. I'm meeting the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants for the first time, and then Santa Claus, spoiler alert, they meet Santa Claus. Let me just put it that way. The next story is one of my favorites. It's about Franklin Richards. He actually sees things that nobody else is seeing. And it's windy out here suddenly. I think it's because there's a ghost stirring it up. He sees this old man that's crying, and so he wants to help him out of the goodness of his heart. And he goes and tries to buy him something from this woman. And it's a key to get rid of those chains that's binding him to his fate, I guess you can say. And she's like, well, it's going to cost you everything you got. And so he gives her 2 quarters because that's all he has. She's like, I don't know. I don't think that's all you have. He's like, oh, you mean like this? So he had to give up his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Christmas ornament to get the key. So he had to make a sacrifice. He didn't just give up 2 quarters, which doesn't mean as much to him. He had to give up something that really meant a lot to him. And I was like, oh, see, that's really good right there. And he goes and he frees the spirit of Christmas, basically the Marley poof. You know, he comes alive. And he's given this little treasure chest. He's like, you know what, I'm going to give this to my dad. Well, he doesn't realize what's in it. The dad is opening it, of course, which is Reed Richards. Finds out that not only is there his little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, which, whatever, their Marvel version of it. There's also the 2 quarters, I was trying to say quarters and coins at the same time, turned into some really old doubloons from 1843, which is like, wasn't that about the time that story was written by, yeah, they kind of catch on that the spirit of Christmas came alive. We got a pinup right there. I wish they would make pinups where you can't tear the book up to get them out. This next story is about, oh my gosh, the art is all flooded. I think this one is the Punisher one. Can't remember. Punisher punishes. It's okay. It's not my favorite story. Yeah. 'Twas the night. Oh, okay, so this one's a Thor story. The Thor story is okay. I don't want to give you too much, and plus, it was not memorable. This was not one of the more memorable ones. It's basically given the Christmas Santa Claus story in Norwegian mythology. Like the girl is waiting by the chimney. She's waiting for her husband to come back, and Christmas miracle, or whatever you want to call it. It's not called Christmas. It's like good winter to all, and to all a good life, not good night, good life. So that's the Santa Claus for Thor. And here's Thor flying over a Christmas tree. I forgot what that's called because I've never been to a Rockefeller Center, so Rockefeller Square. And then I did actually read all of that, this information about the reason they made this Christmas special in 1991 is because he remembers the ones back in the 70s. This one's also a very good and touching one where we have Captain America is volunteering at the soup kitchen for veterans and meets a woman. And when he gets to find out, he's like, wait a minute. His name was, her dad's name. Wait a minute, hold on. Don't make sure I get this right. I think that's what she's saying is that her dad's name was James Buchanan Barnes. He's like, no way. So, yeah, that's Bucky. So basically, he comes back as Santa Claus to go visit her and to tell her all, not Santa Claus. He comes back as Captain America to go visit the lady and to tell her about the how great Bucky really was and to give her something special that he got from Bucky. And she's like, it's not much, but he's like, I know it's not much. She's like, oh, it's everything. Very touching story. I'm about to cry right now thinking about it. And she's basically like, come back every Christmas. You're part of our family now. Who is Diamondback? I really don't remember Diamondback. Oh, and this is a good story. I don't read Ghost Rider, but I know that Metafrog, oh my God, now I'm calling him Metafrog, Metarog, how do you pronounce it now? He does, and this is a Ghost Rider story where my cat's on my back over there. All right, that's not what it's about. This is a Ghost Rider story where this kid who's blind is running from people who are trying to kidnap him, and guess who shows up? And he's like going, I hear bells, which is his chains, and boots. You're Santa Claus. And so Santa Claus is here to slay. Basically, Santa Claus is here to rescue the kid, take it back to the family. And he's like, I got to ride on Santa Claus's sled, which that's his sled. So yeah, he doesn't know. He's blind. He's a kid. This I could not read. It's so tiny, and the printing didn't come out as clear, so I couldn't even read it with glasses on. This last story, I have absolutely no idea, called Captain Ultra. Who is that? So it must be just some kind of funny side relief character. He's kind of ambush buggish. I guess that's right. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really. It was not a memorable story. And then the Spider-Man story. I can't remember that one either, to be honest with you. I just read this a few days ago, and I can't remember some of the stories, but some of the stories I can definitely remember. Okay, this one. So basically, Peter Parker comes to this, where the sick children are in the hospital. J. Jonah Jameson, whatever, is wanting him to take pictures, so he takes pictures. Then he comes back as Spider-Man, and basically it's like the kids want him to stay, and of course, J. Jonah Jameson does not want him to stay. But then while he's leaving, there's some guys coming in to basically rob the place. So he does his thing with helping out to rescue them. And the kids are like telling the guy, no, you're wrong. I know he's great because he did this for me. And I know he's great because he did this for me. So they keep on telling these stories about how Spider-Man saved their lives or changed their lives in a positive way. So that's whenever the guys come in and he has to break up that party. The guys who are coming in to rob the place. Because evidently there's a safe where all of the patient's valuables are put in. And Spider-Man saves the day. He's like, all right, you can stay. And he's like, well, at least until next year. He'll bury the hatch until next year. So it's okay. It's not the best story here. The best stories, honestly, are, like I told you. And I think it's a wraparound cover, but it's got that right there. You're not going to get much of a wraparound cover having a square bound. All right. Well, let me know if you've read this one before and what you thought of it. Which one was your favorite story from what you've read? All right. Have a great day and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. How did I say nuclear? New Year.